Hey everybody, Horseman here, and I bring to you a video today of Wolcen, Lords of Mayhem. Now the reason why I am revisiting this particular game is because the game itself has gone from its alpha stage to beta, and that's what I'm going to show all of you today. Now one thing to note real quick, of course, is going to be this background that we see right here. This is updated art. We have updated character models and everything, but one thing that I have noticed is that we don't have nearly as much customization as we used to for the type of characters that we played. In the past, we didn't get a chance to choose what class of character we wanted to play, but now it seems that we get to generate characters that are more melee, magic, or ranged, and we can do so. So let's go ahead and just do something real quick. So, boom. All right, and go with ranged. Okay, since I already have a melee character. Now, another thing to note here is also I don't have the choice to do any type of character modification. During the alpha, we had the ability to kind of change up the character model how we saw fit. We could change the hair, we could change the skin color, we could change whether or not we wanted to be a male or female, and it doesn't look like we can do that right now. Now, of course, this doesn't necessarily mean that the final product is going to be like this. This is just something that we have right now as it is in its beta form. And let me tell you, right now, it is very much beta. So, previously, if you have played Wolcen, you'll notice that during the alpha, we had almost a full campaign. I mean, we had quests, we had a large open world map, we had a bunch of things to do, and it looked great, it felt great. I mean, the combat was nice and smooth, and one thing I have to say about the actual graphics themselves was the fact that, like, as you're going through the grass, there was so much detail. I mean, the grass would move and sway with your swing, with your footsteps. If you used magic, the environment around you would actually react to that, and that was one thing I really enjoyed about its alpha stages. So apparently what they've done is they've taken all of that and said, we're going to scrap it. We're just going to scrap it all together, and we're going to create something new. I'm not sure why that is, because I thought they had a great thing going, but it definitely needed some tweaking. Just from this image alone, we can see some pretty heavy influence from Warhammer, and you know, I love the Warhammer universe, and I see that we are delving more into a high fantasy and almost a very dark fantasy here. Okay, here we go. Alright, so the first thing to notice is that before we kind of poofed into the middle of a dungeon and we crawled our way out of it, fought a boss after exploring a small open world environment, and this time we're just kind of poofing into some town that we don't really know anything about. We get a little bit of a cutscene just to show us that, hey, it is a town, whether it's a tower, a fortress, or whatever. One thing to note is the exaggerated weapon appearances. I mean, this bow is huge, okay? And, I mean, I like it. I like those exaggerated appearances because even though that this has that realistic kind of look, almost like Grim Dawn in terms of its environment, it does have that artistic element of, like, Torchlight, for instance, like with this guy's armor, this guard's armor that we see right here. It's that kind of cartoony with the over-exaggerated elements to it, and it's kind of neat. Now, there isn't much to be said here about the beta because we seem to be a lot more limited than we were before. Exploration, there is none. Open world, nuh-uh. Okay, what we have here right now is just the ability to test the game mechanics itself. We don't have really anything more than that. Now, this is the second character I've built. The first one is just a melee character. Didn't get very far. But what we do have here is our vendor for our abilities. We still have to use that currency there. We have Dashing Eugene here, who has the ability to give us a quick quest. He'll open up a portal to a map, and that's about it. From what I've seen so far, that's all we're going to be doing for a while. We do have a vendor here as well that can sell us some goods as we see fit. But my console, or I should say my heads up display down here seems to be a little bit smaller, and what it looks like now, we also have the ability to have a chat. Now, I haven't seen any chat come through here yet. Fine. You know, it's going to have that kind of MMO element to it, or kind of like Diablo, that kind of element to it. So, all right. Passive tree. Not much seems to have changed. It's a little bit more simplified than it was before, meaning that there's not as many nodes, but you still have that same kind of puzzle piece where you can mix and change how you want things to go. So if I want to go just straight up melee, you know, I can do that by going through here and just going. So Praetorian, Warmonger. So that's probably something that I would rather do. I want to be a warmonger, you know, later on. So let me just go ahead and get that in position now. So, you know, and I like that. I like the ability that you can kind of, you know, it's classless but melee-oriented type of character development here. So that is pretty neat. Well, another thing we also seem to have is, just like other RPGs way back in the day, we're going to get points when we level up that we can dump into our primary, secondary, tertiary, and quaternary attributes. So, and of course, those are going to be tied mostly to the type of character you're building, whether it's the melee, the magic, or your ranged, as this character is. So, good times. Now, one thing to note here is that I love the shadowing that the game offers. I love that you know, the amount of detail that they put in the rocks. I thought, you know, it was great just from how it was originally. I don't have any ranged characters. I've never played a ranged character, so I don't even know what my ability is like. Alright. I guess ranged means nothing when they just run up on you like that. We got those pretty neat gore effects if you like that sort of thing. I always kind of fun just to watch critters explode like that. You're going to get drops just like any other Diablo game. You're going to have different rarities. So far what I've seen is our unique, which I believe is red. And then we've got our rares, which are yellow, and our magic items, which are blue. And now that was what I saw from the alpha stages, and based on what I've seen so far with this new beta, it's relatively the same. So I can be happy about that. Another thing to note is in Path of Exile, my biggest gripe about it, and you know, probably going to get prosecuted for this, but I don't like the inventory system in Path of Exile. I love picking up loot. I love bringing it back and salvaging it or selling it for gold. Whatever the case is, and I've always found myself, one, either being drowned in loot in Path of Exile, or I can't pick it all up because of the awkward sizes that it offers. Sure, I guess there's some strategy in that, if you will. Whatever, it's not for everybody. I do like the fact that Wolcen has brought that inventory system from Diablo, so yeah, it still offers a little bit more complexity in character development than Diablo did. So it's still kind of a mess around, and it does look like I can respec for a price. So there's that. Matter of fact, I just leveled up, so let's go ahead and get into character. All right. So my primary, wisdom. I'm kind of shocked about that. Wouldn't think that primary would be my wisdom here. Why? Spell status and chance. I guess if I'm applying poisons or whatnot, it just doesn't seem to fit the lore of this type of character. Or I can just switch it myself. Let's go ahead and do that. Yeah. Let's get some health in there. We also want to get that attack critical chance score, so that's something that I think I'm just going to end up going with agility, ferocity as my secondary, and toughness as my tertiary, with wisdom kind of being down there. I don't really see the need for wisdom being a necessary stat for this type of class. Now, one thing to note, and I can kind of compare this to Path of Exile as opposed to Diablo, is that abilities are not learned the same way as they are in Diablo, but they are not equipable items like they are in Path of Exile. That was the first thing to note. Your abilities are gonna come as drops, and then you learn them, and then you can go level them up at that vendor that I showed you here back in town. And I thought that was a nifty kind of way of doing things, a good middle ground, but you do still have to worry about whether or not you're going to get that in a drop. Now, previously in the alpha, you could also buy abilities if you had enough gold, but either I missed that real quick or it's just not in the beta right now. One of the two. Matter of fact, I really haven't seen too many other abilities outside of your abilities that you get from the start anyway, so I'm not sure that all of that has been put back into the game yet. They might be rebalancing, they might be doing something with it, so who knows. I do like how that ability kind of has the chance to stun enemies. If they're coming up on you. Okay, it does kind of make them flinch a little bit, which is fine because it might be just enough time to get pick them off one by one or throw out another one of those. Now your resources at the bottom, you have rage on this side, willpower on the other side, and once you use enough of one, the other one will generate. And so it kind of, you have to do kind of a balancing act, and I like that, it's interesting, but it also makes you think about it when you're in a heated fight, you're like, oh shoot, you know, I'm trying to use this ability because I don't have enough rage. Kind of like that, you know. You build up rage by using your regular attacks, and then you build up your willpower by using your rage. So I found myself during the alpha running out of which because I got so used to just spamming abilities in both Path of Exile and in Diablo. So consider me spoiled in that. It's just a new system to learn. Boom! I like the way it looks when you level up. Looking for that treasure chest. I know I already completed the quest of it. No piercing there. I wonder if that's something that I'll get eventually. Get that to pierce. That'd be great. Especially in big groups like that. Oh yeah, your little roll there. It's not an infinite thing. It is based off of stamina, which is so you'll have like down here. You see that I have a health potion. There are also rage potions, willpower potions, and also stamina potions for you to be able to get your resources back. Good, bad, don't know yet. I prefer the magic items. Alright, let's see what we got here. Alright, well, I definitely got new boots. That's definitely going to be a little bit better. Get that. Pants. Alright. So another thing I've noticed is that as of right now, there's no camera swinging. Previously, something that we could do. Oh, I missed that. Previously, that was something that we could do. We could make the camera kind of spin around, get different angles, which was nice because you can check out all aspects of the map around you and see if you missed anything, which could also hide secrets, chests, whatever. That doesn't seem to be the case right now. And I hope. There it is. Anything good? An axe. Outstanding. Absolutely not what I need. Okay, back to town. So just like before, just like Diablo, let's go ahead and press T. Go back to town. Start the quest. Get a reward. On my bow. Well, doesn't seem to do much more much damage, but I can always check to see which one's better. This one's better in terms of sheet damage, but I get plus 7% to elemental damage, so maybe that'll make up for that. Maybe. Okay, so this is your example of a rare item. We have our common items, and we have our magic items. And I have not yet seen a fancy, unique item yet in this stage of the game. Do not have the ability yet to also make this more powerful, but you'll notice here, though, that it does gain experience as you use it, which is a fun little feature. Let's go ahead and pick. So this time I am not a melee character. So that was kind of one of the things I goofed there from what I was talking about before. So let me see what kind of cool assassin or ranger. I think ranger would be better. Alright. A sentinel, huh? Covert operative. Backline raider. Okay, let's go with this. Alright. Confirm it, lock those skills in, and voila. That is what it is. So anyway, this was just a quick video to show you how the Wolcen is coming along. If you wish to support it, it is available on Steam. But of course, know and understand that you are coming into a beta. It is not the finished product. There is a lot of work to do so far. But if you're the type of person that likes to go in there and help out the developers in figuring out what they should be doing, if you want a voice in the development, then by all means, participate, come on in, and make the game better. All right. Well, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please post that in the comment section below. I thank you for watching. Until next time, Horseman out.